The Environment Agency is a public body responsible for creating better spaces for people and wildlife. Hebden Bridge is situated in a steep-sided valley where three rivers meet: River Calder, Hebden Water and Colden Clough. Hebden Bridge is at risk from flooding from rivers, the Rochdale Canal and from surface water, and so the flood alleviation scheme is being constructed to improve flood protection for approximately 400 properties, 2 schools, 2 main roads, various heritage features, vital infrastructure and people and wildlife.
Flooding the Hebden Bridge goes back a long time, as you know. And I think it was 2006 when there was a flood in Hebden Bridge that caused quite a lot of damage, particularly in this area, but more so from 2012 when we had the twin floods and we had a month's worth of rain in 2 hours, which completely flooded the town. And the strange part was there was very little rain in Todmorden, virtually none down the valley, and people thought we were pulling our legs when we said Hebden Bridge was flooding. But it was serious, and from then on we really started to come together as a group, and we set up the Flood Action Group from then on, which morphed into the flood wardens. And then of course came the devastating flood of 2015, and I think I was the sole flood warden in the area at the time. It just happened that people were on holiday, but it was devastating to see the level of water. I mean, if you look around from here, for example, just across the road, over at the pub there, that it was up to the bottom of those notice boards, you know. And that, if you project that across the road, you know, across the valley, that's a lot of water, and it was absolutely devastating for the town. It took a long time to get back on its feet again, despite a lot of effort from a lot of people. People look around here, you look around and you see the stone walls and think, well, they're fine. But what they don't realise is there's been no maintenance for 5 or 6 decades now. And those walls are not in the best of condition. We need a proper, modern flood alleviation scheme that's going to take the stress out. We won't stop flooding, but what it will do, it will flood later and stop sooner.
The scheme is divided into 5 zones: A, B, C, D and E. Construction will be phased to minimise impacts, with work occurring in pockets throughout the project's duration. In Zone A, along the River Calder from Stubbingholme Road Bridge to Fountain Street, new flood walls will be built, existing walls refurbished or rebuilt, and devegetation undertaken. Major rebuilds are needed near Calder Terrace Car Park, Hebden Royd Methodist Church and the Neptune. In Zone B, at the confluence of the River Calder and Hebden Water, new flood walls will be constructed, existing walls rebuilt or refurbished, and adjustments made to tie new walls into the Grade 2 listed New Road Bridge and Aqueduct. Substantial rebuilds are needed near Riverside School and Central Street School. In Zone C, in the middle of town along Hebden Water, 2 sets of vertical rising barriers will be installed at the Old Packles Bridge, hidden underground when not in use. The river wall on the right bank along Oldgate will be built with glass panels, and new landscape areas will be created around the Old Packles Bridge and at the southern end of Oldgate. In Zone D, along Hebden Water from St George's Bridge to Regent Street, existing walls will be refurbished or partially reconstructed. New flood walls will be built near the White Line Pub and Bridge Mill, with strengthening works on St George's Bridge and Innovation Mill. A new rock ramp or fish path will be added to Innovation Mill Weir. Zone E continues along Hebden Water to Victoria Road Bridge. In this zone, minor refurbishment works are required to the Riverside Wall. The flood defences aim to retain as many trees as possible, but some removal is necessary for construction. For each tree removed, 5 new ones will be planted, totalling 565 new trees. The scheme will maintain the ecological quality of the rivers as per the Water Environment Regulations framework, and will make a 10% improvement in natural habitats to create biodiversity net gain. Mitigation includes modifying weirs for fish passage, adding nature bricks and verticals, and installing bird and bat boxes. The project respects Hebden Bridge as a cultural hotspot in a conservation area with a scheduled ancient monument and 50 listed buildings. Glass panels and Yorkshire stone will be utilised to maintain visual amenity and connection with nature. A consultation event with the local community was held at the project's inception in June 2017. Since then, the Environment Agency continues to regularly hold meetings with partners, local councillors and community representatives to provide them with updates on the progress of the scheme via a dedicated key stakeholder group that has had input on the scheme from day one. The project team has also participated in community forums such as the Hebden Bridge Business Forum and the Disability Access Forum to get feedback on proposals for the scheme. We have attended various engagement events with various stakeholders, including school visits, volunteer tree planting and more. As details of the design of the scheme develop, there will be further consultations with those affected to discuss proposals. Together, we can work towards building a more flood-resilient community in Hebden Bridge. Visit www.ioncorderdale.com or our Flood Information Centre on Valley Road for more information.